everyone. This format of me talking to you in this way is certainly not one that I would choose as my favorite way to communicate with people, because I would love to just be able to sit across from you and say, how are you? How you doing? How's it going? Because I do love to listen, and that came so late in life for me. I was almost known for being, I still am in a way, for being overly chatty. And one time I even kind of identified this personality trait in myself of being the storyteller, and feeling that if I didn't have a story to tell or something interesting, or, I mean, it certainly probably wasn't to most of the people that I was talking to for many, many, many years in the past, but that was part of my persona, was I need to have something to talk about, or I won't be noticed, or I won't be liked, or I need to be entertaining, or whatever. I had a lot of that stuff. And now I'm at this point in my life where I just really love to listen, and this format obviously doesn't give me that advantage, but here I am. So I'm just thinking today, once again, I feel like there's really nothing new to say except that I just look at my life, I live my life, I get up today, I'm out doing whatever I did, and just feeling so awake and aware, not every second at all, but in those moments when I do, God, it's just so precious and so much mine, so much something that no one can ever feel except me, and no one can understand what it means to this person who's lived all these years, and so many of them, for me, just because of the way my life was, many, many painful years. So for me, many of those years were painful, and that's just the way it turned out for me. And I had to do a lot of work. I had to do a lot of healing. I did many, many things to try to find out what was going on with me, why life was so difficult, why I felt the way I did. I did therapy, medication, things like that. And yet, the most powerful of all those, and they all helped and still help so much. But I remember the first time I went to a therapist, about maybe 30 years ago, I said to her, I already know my destination, and it's to go inside. I know how to do it. I was shown how to do it. I know where I want to go, but I have these boulders in my path, and I need help moving those. That's what I said to her. I said, I already know my destination, my goal, whatever you want to call it. I know I'm trying to go home to who I really am. And it was just wonderful working. I worked with the same woman for many, many years, and it was so wonderful for her too, I think, to work with someone who knew where she wanted to go, and she knew, talking about myself, she knew how to get there, but there were these obstacles that she needed help with, talking about myself again. But at the same time, there was never any doubt that I knew my destination, and I just needed help with a few things here and there. And I was able to go inside and feel that feeling, even during the worst of those times, which is amazing. But to, at the same time, be aware that I did have things in my character or my personality or my history that caused me to need to work on some of those things, to heal some of those things. And now, at this point in time in my life, it's not that I'm glad that I don't need therapy or anything like that anymore. I'm just so grateful that that help was there to help me along, and that I made it this far where I can walk on my own 2 feet, and just really take care, as I've talked about before, really take care of this being that I do see that this, it's not separate from me, but it's not this external, it's not this name that I have, it's not the way I look, it's not my house, it's not my car, it's not where I live, it's not my beliefs, it's this other thing that is so separate in the sense of being in this pristine place within me that is untouched by everything about this world. And I remember once my teacher, someone said to him, I'm heartbroken. And he just said, the heart can't break. And I just resonated with that so much, that we say heartbreak, but that's the one thing inside of us that is untouched by whatever's happened to us. It's amazing to think about that, but there's that place that is so protected. Thank God. Isn't that amazing? We can connect with something in us that was never, ever damaged or hurt or broken or affected in any way by whatever we've gone through in this life. And that's not to validate all the things that each of us may have struggled with or been faced with, or whatever, the challenges. I mean, I honor what I've been through. I look back and I just can't believe that I was that person living in some of these horrendous situations where the thing I was feeling and experiencing was so painful that there were times when I thought about ending my life. And I know that that's a big epidemic today, and I go online and work with certain groups just to say, hey, I'm 73. I do know what that feeling is of wanting to just be done with the pain so much that you actually think about, the most horrible thing that you could ever think about. And I do understand that, and I really love connecting with people, especially young people, but anybody who thinks that they just can't do it, that there's just no hope. And I just like to tell them, my God, if I had left back when I wanted to, more than once when I felt like I can't stay here, I would have missed all of this. I would have missed so much. And this life is just so incredibly sweet. And I'm so glad, beyond glad, grateful, and no words to describe that feeling of still being here and having walked through the fire, crossed the ocean, however you want to describe it. It's been talked about in a million ways. And to feel that in many ways I am on the other side, because we can reach the other side before we leave this body. We can come to a place in life that it's just it is heaven on earth. There are no questions. There is no, yeah, of course, I'm not entirely clear 100% of the time, but for the most part, it's just, I feel that I've crossed that ocean of this world, and in a way, I enjoy the world more than ever now. I know I do. It's not going to the mountaintop and never being part of this world. That peace that we can feel inside has nothing to do with leaving our relationships or our interests or our work or our children or whatever. It just enhances every bit of it and helps us to be so much clearer about who we are and how to care for ourselves in the most beautiful way. So that's all. Thanks for stopping by.